morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Prince Miller Entertainment TV. You're listening and watching to daily news, breaking news, everyday news on Prince Miller Entertainment TV. Today is the 17th of September 2025. So guys, you can now follow us on our YouTube channel, which is Prince Miller Entertainment TV, and also on our Facebook channel, which is Prince Miller Entertainment TV. So guys, this is good news, man. A new US Congressional bill could repeal the Zimbabwe Democracy and Economic Recovery Act, Zdera, but economic cooperation will still hinge on compensation. White former commercial farmers. Florida Republican Brian Matz, chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, introduced the Omnibus Department of State Policy Provisions Act, which seeks broad changes to U.S. foreign policy, including boosting economic interest in Africa. The bill includes a proposal to stop Zdera, first enacted in 2001 and amended in 2018, while maintaining the requirement that Zimbabwe fully compensate farmers displaced during its fast-track land reform program. The bill states the U.S. shall not support any new or expanded funding from the International Monetary Fund or the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, commonly known as the World Bank, for the government of Zimbabwe, unless the government of Zimbabwe shall commit within 12 months of the approval of such new or expanded funding to remit all outstanding arrears owed under the Global Compensation Deed, inflation adjusted to the date of entitlement, and compensation shall not be in the form of Zimbabwe issued securities. Failure to comply with this provision shall result in an immediate cessation of all U.S. support of any further funding from these institutions. In 2020, Zimbabwe struck a deal with white farmers to compensate only for improvements on land seized under the land reform program, totaling $3.5 billion US. By April 2025, payments for the first 378 farms were approved at $311 million US, but only 1%, $3.1 million US was in cash, and the remainder comes as US dollar denominated treasury bonds with 2% annual interest maturing in 2 to 10 years. The 2025 national budget allocated $10 million US for this purpose. The government says bonds are necessary as it cannot pay $3.5 billion US upfront. Under the new US bill, however, Zimbabwe would be required to settle the full amount in cash within a year of any World Bank or IMF lending approval, with bonds including US dollar securities unacceptable. Zimbabwe currently $21 billion in debt and barred from new World Bank loans due to arrears, is negotiating with creditors to clear out outstanding debts. Even after a debt clearance deal, the bill would block new loans unless Harare finds billions in cash to compensate farmers within a year. Zdera was introduced in 2001 in response to human rights abuses, land reform, and Zimbabwe's role in the DRC war, with a revised version enticed in 2018. The updated law required Zimbabwe to enforce SADC tribunal rulings from 2007, which found land reform discriminatory and illegal, demanded full compensation for seized land, and recommended returning farms taken for resettlements. Zimbabwe Constitution, Section 295, however, only allows compensation to indigenous Zimbabweans or under bilateral investment promotion and protection agreements. White farmers are entitled solely to compensation for improvements made to the land, falling short of the tribunal's full compensation rulings. So guys, that's the latest here. And yeah, so finally, America could repeal Zdera sanctions, and if Zimbabwe can compensate the former commercial white farmers. And yes, sakazvonzi varungu ngavabhadhare mari yavo yese yakakwana in cash, which is 3.5 billion US. I mean, it's a lot of money that Zimbabwe needs to pay former former commercial white farmers. Some of them wakatofa kudhara ndika, so vana vanhu vasara handika, because I mean this happened in the early 2000s. We all know nyaya yekugwa ivhu, nyaya yaitika yemaovet pavapinda muminda dzakasiyana siyana vachitora mafamu. Saka nanhasi vachiri vakamirira mari dzavo andika. So the government made a progress which was last year. Yes, the government paid almost like $3.1 million in cash imwe yakazobhadhara zvayo in mabonds andika, which is almost like 1% andika yakabhadhara in cash muna 2025 andika. Saka vari kutry by all means, but all kuti isusu tine zvikwereti zvakare ku World Bank, ku IMF tine zvikwereti kwavari ikoko, vari kudawo mari dzavo dzezvikwereti idzodzo. Saka they cannot even loan us anything, because tofanira tanga tabhadhara zvikwereti izvozvo. At the same time we need to pay varungu vaya vatakadzinga vaya. So tiri kunzizoni kana bill rakapasiswa, Zimbabwe needs to pay those former commercial white farmers within a year, so that they can repeal Zimbabwe Democracy and Economic Recovery Act, which is Zdera. Those sanctions are each and every year. I mean, September itori mwezi wa sanctions, so sooner or later you hear Mnangagwa vachita wanderawo vachitaura nyaya dzema sanctions yayo, which is Zdera. And so in the comment section, guys. Remember to like, share, comment and follow, and turn on the notification bell so that you won't miss any of our new upload that we do upload here. So my sanctions don't go blame my guys who sumuka because of my sanctions, and yes, they've been on us for the last 20 years or so. Saka every politician go my sanctions, so akabiswa to not ingekwaza kusumuka here kana kuti people will be just looking for someone to blame or something to blame. And so for me personally, I don't think the government will be able to pay mari yakawanda kudaro kuvarungu aya. And so I still think that whatever will happen, my sanctions achangoramba angoripo, because we can't afford to pay those commercial white farmers mari yavakavirana nayo nehurumende inoti iyo $3.5 billion. Munozviona sei? Ngatitaure in the comment section. This is a daily news, breaking news, everyday news on Prince Mila Entertainment TV. Bless up.